Welcome to the Yum Yum Yogi. Today, let's do a tofu loaf. This is low carb, keto, gluten-free, vegan, and of course, scrumptious. Before we start, let's reflect on this thought. I am supremely happy because I'm seated in God's heart. Let's start by prepping the veggies. We'll be using 1 cup of cabbage. Mince it like you're seeing on the screen. Let's do 2 medium carrots. Let's grate them, and 3 stalks of celery. You can use any veggies. These are the veggies I like. We also need to mince the celery, and we will be using parsley. So usually I use other herbs like thyme and sage, but for now let's keep it simple and just use parsley. We will need 2 pounds of extra firm tofu. Transfer this to a bowl and scramble it. It's easier if you scramble with the food processor. I'm not sure why I'm using my hand, but it's easier with the food processor. And keep this scrambled tofu to the side, and let's saute the veggies. Add 1 tablespoon extra virgin olive oil. Add the cabbage and the celery and the carrots and saute just for 2 or 3 minutes, not for too long because they're going to cook in the oven anyway. And to this we will add salt and pepper and also black salt. So black salt is an Indian condiment that gives this loaf an amazing flavor. And you get it in an Indian store, so do try it. It's really amazing. And it's optional, of course. And I also like my tofu loaf with a little kick, so I'm going to add a little chili pepper. So saute for just 2 or 3 minutes and keep it aside for now. So to the scrambled tofu, add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk powder. I'm using psyllium husk powder to bind the tofu because instead of oats, I'm using almond flour to make it low carb. Mix this thoroughly and then add the sauteed vegetables and mix everything. So you can bake this in a bundt cake pan or a cake pan. I am using a bundt cake pan because I really like the look of it, but you can use a bread pan, a cake pan, whatever pan. And at this point you have to preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So grease the bundt cake pan and pack the tofu in like you're seeing on the screen. Bake for about 40 minutes in a preheated oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm making a homemade ketchup here. So take some oil, a pinch of ground cloves, a cup of strained tomatoes. You can use a store-bought ketchup for spreading on top, but I think ketchup has too much sugar, so I'm doing my own version of sugar-free ketchup here to spread on top of the loaf. A pinch of ground mustard, cinnamon, ginger, salt and pepper to taste, and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. And there you have amazing ketchup for spreading on top of the loaf. After about 40 minutes, take the loaf out of the oven, let it stand on the counter for a few minutes before overturning it onto a flat plate. There is that scrumptious, amazing tofu loaf. Let's spread some of the ketchup we made on top. It is so moist and so easy to make. It's well worth the effort. See how moist that looks? It's so delicious with the almond flour and a hint of black salt and a hint of parsley. It's really delicious. But before we taste this, let's remember our affirmation. I am supremely happy because I'm seated in God's heart. Okay, now let's taste this thing. It smells so good in here. It's really good. I like the subtleness of it. You know, during Christmas time, when I make it, I put sage and thyme and all of that to give it Christmas flavors. But now it's very subtle. You just taste a subtle hint of parsley, and all the veggies and the tofu, they all come together in a really nice, subtle flavor.